Welcome to Backstage with Kennedy. This little show will be your remedy. From Toronto, spanning across the sea. Cool people, lots of laughs. This is your favorite podcast.
Hello and welcome. My name's Kennedy from the Backstage with Kennedy podcast. I got a great guest today. I got Jon from the band called Napoleon. Napoleon is awesome. I think the best way to describe them is very versatile and elusive. There's so many different sounds, different influences that I tracked down when I was listening to their music. And I think they got a very, very bright future. So yeah, I'm excited to talk to Jon. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good, bro. So I got a bunch of questions. I mean, I've really been doing my research on you guys, and I just keep finding more and more stuff that I'm really quite intrigued about. So I saw that you guys are managed by Scott Middleton of Cancer Bats. How is that? Is there a lot of does he give you guys a lot of direction on the music scene?
Yeah, he's he's been through it. Obviously, he really knows what he's talking about. He really knows. I mean, he's really good at giving direction and helping us find our way. We're really close too. Our producer, like, he produced the single we released back in January. He produced the single we just released, and we a bunch more that we're just sitting on waiting to release now that he produced too. So it's like he's very close to the project. In many ways, he's like he really does his best in it. Yeah. He doesn't talk. He's not one of those people that talks for nothing. He doesn't just speak bullshit. Like, when he says something, he says it because he means it. And if for whatever reason he doesn't know what it is he says, give me a few days to look into this, and then I'll let you know, because I don't want to screw something up. He's very, like, he wants to make sure everything's done the right way the first time. It's great because, obviously we're young. With the exception of our bassist Michael, we're all 20 years old. So like we still have a lot of learning to do, not only as a band, but as people, and how to act professionally and all that stuff. So it's really great to have someone who's been through the whole thing there helping us and directing us. And
Absolutely.
We're super grateful for everything he does for us.
Does he have any like influence in like helping you guys with the direction of the sound? Because I did find a little bit of stuff that was like kind of garage rock, a little bit of arena rock, a little bit of grunge, a little bit of post hardcore. There's a lot of different sounds, but has he like pushed you in any sort of direction, like musically?
That's a good question. I mean, sorry, my voice is a bit fucked because we just did a live stream concert 2 days ago, and
Attaboy.
it was all covers, so it was all stuff that's like not my normal range. So just kind of regret that. But kind of yes, but also kind of no. I feel like in many ways he lets us do our own thing, but he also, sometimes I'll play like a riff for him, and he'll be like, this, and he'll say to me like, this is cool, but like, this is not you. This is like full on, or this like to whatever, Or sometimes I'll say to him, before COVID, and looking at like, and I would send him a show, and he'd be like, do you really think you fit on this? Like, this is not your scene, So he really helps us in those regards. He tries to get us to stick to one specific scene. I think it's good. I think finding your audience is a good thing. It was hard for me because I have so many different influences personally as a music fan.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I want to include everything, like I want to include those like soft bands like Radiohead, and then I want to include those like crazy heavy metal bands like Slipknot, But obviously that kind of shit's not going to work, like you have to have to define yourself. And he's really trying to help us push through that. And it's okay to have songs here and there that are a bit different. Like our next single, for example, which hasn't come out yet, but we finished it already. It should come out a month from now. It's like this super fast, like hardcore punk song almost. And it doesn't really sound like the other two songs we did with him. But he's like, no, it's cool. This is different, but it still sounds like you. It's super genuine. And yeah, I mean, it's cool we have all these different things. But he's not really trying to change us, you know. I think he's trying to help enhance what already was there.
That's good. I mean, it's nice when someone respects and appreciates what you're doing and they believe in what you're doing, so they kind of let you do your thing with the artistic aspect of music, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, he didn't want to come and like change everything, you know.
Yeah,
it was more like, you know, we have something really cool here, and I want to make it even better, and that's what it is. Wicked.
So you guys just dropped a new single. Can you tell the people a little bit about that? Because I mean, I loved it. I listened to it and I was super into it. But for people who may not have heard about it, can you tell them a little bit about it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a cover of one of my favorite bands ever called Queens of the Stone Age. And it's a cover of their song called Little Sister. We tried to make the song just like the original song is, you know, it's a normal fast-paced rock song, but we wanted it to just like slap you in the face. Like we wanted it to just be like this huge bombastic tune that's just like super infectious and really does the original justice. We didn't want to just play the original for you, because if you're going to listen to the original, if you want to listen to the original, it's already there.
Exactly.
Right? And it's funny because I remember going into recording, because our plan was very much back in like April and May. We talked about going back into the studio and re-recording some of our older songs. And that we ended up doing it. And we did 3, and then the cover in those same sessions. But I actually wanted to do 4 old songs. And I remember Scott was like, no, you have to do the cover. I want to do it justice. And then we had like pre-production with him for it, because he produced it. And I remember just like by the end of it, I was like, holy shit, like this viewer is so right. Like I can't believe I actually didn't want to do this. And it's just funny because like even I'm not super into like listening to my own music, because that's kind of weird. But like I guess because I didn't write this song, it's like I just love listening to it. It just sounds so cool. I'm so happy with how it came out.
Well, that's dope. Yeah, it's I caught that as well, that it was the cover, and I was like, it has a Napoleon-esque sound to it, though. It doesn't sound like, exactly as you said, it doesn't sound like you're covering it.
Right? We didn't want it to be like, you know, we didn't want to, like, as much as we love the Stone Age and we love what they're my favorite bands ever, I didn't want to make another version of their song, you know, because it's already there.
Yeah. And
it's like, you know, speaking about Scott, his band Cancer Bats, they have their cover version of like Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. And it's like one of their biggest songs, because it's so sick and it's just so different than the original. Like it doesn't sound like a cover. It sounds like a Cancer Bats song. Yeah. And that's really what I wanted to do with Little Sister. And I personally feel like we achieved it. I'm really proud of that.
For sure. So you've actually played shows with one of my favorite bands, Single Mothers.
Yes.
How is it playing with those guys? Because they are wicked, man. They are wicked.
They're friggin' insane. I love them so much. That was one of the first like bigger shows we played.
Yeah.
It was last May, so May of 2019. It was a very special show for me because, again, you know, looking at bands like Queens of the Stone Age or bands like, you know, Foo Fighters or like Slipknot, all those like huge bands. Of course, they're huge inspirations to us, but like it seems so unattainable because they're so big, you know. But then you look at a band like Single Mothers, not that they're not big, I'm not trying to shit on them or anything, but, obviously they're not playing in like stadiums.
Yeah.
But, it's cool to see, just a bunch of guys, from Southern Ontario, just like us, making this like super abrasive music, which in no way is like radio friendly pop,
Yeah.
and seeing them still succeed. And to me, that's so inspiring. So it's like bands like, Single Mothers, The Dirty Nil, even Puff. I know up now they're pretty huge, but like, even before smaller, all those bands were like such huge inspirations to me because it showed me that it was possible to have success in music. And that's really what led me to start this band.
For sure. I feel like this wave of music right now that's really blowing up in the city, it's not all radio friendly, but at the end of the day, like the underground scene loves it, man. We love it.
Toronto is one of the not just Toronto, like Southern Ontario as a whole.
Yeah.
I said this in an interview like last week, but I truly consider myself very lucky to have been born here because our city is just so rich with good music everywhere. Like we have like huge bands like Lexus on Fire, Billy Talent coming from here, and they're like it's all insanely good. Then you have like smaller bands like Single Mothers, Dead Tire, which is Lexus on Fire's singer side project. This really small band called, not super small, they're assigned to like New Damage Records. They're called Life in Vacuum. They're super cool. And like just seeing all these bands around me is just so inspiring for me. And that's why, going back to your question about the Single Mother show, that show is so special to me because like, it's like we played right before them that night. And it was like, we got off stage and like these guys who like really inspired me to do it just walk out, right? It's like, whoa. I have to watch them from like the side. It was just insane for me.
It's almost like I made it moment. You know what I mean? Like even though it's not like oh, I'm achieving that ultimate goal, but you're getting what you need to get done, and you're like, wow, damn, now I have a measuring stick, right?
That was also definitely a huge source of validation for the band too, in the sense that I was like, oh, so we are able to play these bigger shows and not have people, like we came talk to us after, said they really liked the set, we sold awesome merch, and I think it was, money aside, obviously money's cool, but like it's really nice to see that like it wasn't like, oh, who's this new band, like they're just kids. It was like they just talked to us like we were like as if we were like a band that was Single Mothers, and that was really awesome for us. I think that really was really special to us.
So speak of other bands that are absolutely killing it in Toronto. Anti-Queens. So you have a show coming up with Emily Bones of the Anti-Queens. She's going to be opening it up, it sounds like, with an acoustic set. Can you tell the people a little bit about that? I mean, I already got my ticket. I will be there. But for the people who may not know.
Well, so it's going to be a social distancing show. Obviously, these times are not normal times. Super reduced capacity. You have to come wearing your mask. It's all seated. Once you're at your table, you can take your mask off and stuff. And, pretty much since COVID started, it's been really important to me. I remember literally back in March sitting down with Scott saying, whatever we're doing, we need to be one step ahead. We need to be like doing everything we can during this time to not crush our momentum. Because we had, right before COVID, like in January release, which ended up being our biggest single. It was the first single Scott produced for us, also featured Luke Bentham from The Dirty Nil on it. And that did really well for us. And then we had like this small tour around Southern Ontario and Quebec. And that tour did really well for us. Really got the name up. We really saw the social media numbers going up pretty quickly during that time. And then we had tons of shit planned over the summer. A bunch of tours like in May and June. Some tours in July and August we were planning. That never even got announced. We had another show with Single Mothers that didn't even get announced. Like this summer was going to be huge and obviously that was taken away from us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like bullshit. So I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the data of the situation we have, and we're trying to do that, and we've been trying to do that the entire time. So back when they first started, we tried to do all these like live streams where we were all at home and we'd have like Skype calls like you and I are doing.
Yep.
And we'd have like tasting thing where like they would tell us what beers to drink. And things start to open again, and we were allowed very small gatherings. We started having band practices, and then we started doing live stream concerts. And we started doing this a little bit before most people were, which I think was really key, because again, we're trying to be ahead of the curve. We're really trying. It's really important for us that we're the first to do everything.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we've done 3 live streams now. We did one where we just did a normal Napoleon concert. Then we did one in July, which had a whole cover set of that was fun. And then just 2 days ago, we did a single release live stream for Little Sister, where fans were able to submit, where they were able to like buy a ticket and then submit which cover they wanted us to play. And then we learned their cover.
Sick.
And that's how I shot my voice. People ask for like the screamiest, highest singing songs. I'll try. And I did, and then I really blew my voice, but sometimes you just gotta get it. Yeah. And then pretty much when stage 3 hit, Doug Ford, who's like the premier of Ontario, announced stage 3, which allowed larger gatherings that are socially distant, indoors to be exact. And this stage allows for live music, as long as, well, there's certain precautions that need to be met, which we're going to be meeting all of them at the show, actually, and more. We've added some extra stuff that's not required, just in the interest of really making sure everything's going to be safe. But that day I started calling like all the venue owners and promoters I know, saying, hey, like we really want to do this. We want to take the risk. We don't care if we're going to lose some money. We just want to get out there and play, because we really want to be the first, and we just didn't care about like the logistics. We just want to make sure that, as long as we want to make sure there was a place that was going to have us play and was going to do everything in a way that was both safe and legal. Really, because I know there's been shows going on like underground people's basements and stuff with no rules and stuff, and we're just not about that. We're not trying to sneak around, do things in a sketchy way or anything. We want to make sure everything we do is done the right way.
Absolutely.
Which is why I called these venues and said, hey, like we really want to do this. Please have us. And then eventually I got a hold of one who is in Etobicoke. And they asked us not to reveal the location to not people who haven't purchased tickets, which is fine. It's more about they don't want to have an excess crowd.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Totally understand it. And so I went over with them like what they were going to be doing for social distancing. It's super, super safe. Like everything's like real, like locked there. There's gonna be like mic shields, so like all the spitting and masks until you're at your table. We're not even, the show is gonna be outdoors, and we're not even going up to the 100 capacity, which is allowed. Like we're staying quite a bit under that, almost actually half of that as far as right now. And it's just because we just want to be safe,
No, I think that's spot on. I saw Emily Bones' Facebook post, and Emily was like, "I will call you out if you are standing up away from your table." She's like, "I will call you out," and that's the way. That's good. That's really good.
That's what we need right now. I want this to be. It's really important to me, more so than anything else. What I really want is for this to be successful, so that not only we can do it again, but I want others to be able to do it. Live music is so important to so many people, and it's, for a lot of people, myself included, it's been really hard to go this long without it. And I'm not saying that we need to have these full-on like ragers with like thousands of people there, all sweaty and rubbing up on each other. No, it's not time for that yet.
No.
But I do personally think that we can have live music in a way that is safe and sanitary and legal. And then that's what it comes down to. Like even yesterday, I did an acoustic show with the singer of Monster Truck in Hamilton, and it was everyone comes in, they come with their mask, they go sit at their table, they enjoy the show, everything gets wiped down, and then you leave.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure, it's not the ideal way to be doing things. Sure, we would have loved to have both of our full bands there, hundreds of people there, moshing and crowd surfing and all that. We can't have that now. This is what we can do, and in my opinion, at least, this is better than nothing.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you, man. I think personally as well, like I've really been hurt by not having live music. It was my thing to do. It was my escape from reality a little bit.
Yeah,
so not having that around, I think it affects a lot of us, musicians and non-musicians as a whole, people who really enjoy live music. So what was I gonna say? I had something on my mind. Yes, so speak of live venues. I've been asking this question because obviously venues are really struggling right now, being that they can't do live music. So I've been asking this question pretty much every interview. What is your favorite venue in Toronto, and why is it your favorite venue? Tell me a story about that venue.
That we've played, or just in general?
Just in general even works.
I'll go with that we've played. I have a lot of favorites as a fan, but my favorite that we played is quite easy. Back in February, we had our biggest. It was February 1st. It was our first show of 2020, and it was our biggest headline show to date in Toronto, of course, and it was at Lee's Palace.
Beautiful.
And I just remember, by no means we didn't even get close to selling it out because we're not that big, but there was just there's so many more people than we were used to there. It was like the week after we put out Amends, which was the song with Luke Mentha. You saw all these people coming in like Dirty Nil shirts and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, this is like actually happening. And I just remember walking. I remember it was cool. We had our own green room and stuff. So I guess that's kind of like the norm now. But I remember walking out and just there was so many people just staring at us. And I was like, shit, it's actually happening. This is really fucking cool. And in the past, when there's been that many people there, it's because there's a big band after us, but there was no one. This is it, right? And here we go. We're gonna play for an hour, 15 minutes. This is not what we're used to. But we had fun. We fucked up a few times, as you do with nerves. It was also the first show for our new bassist Michael, which I definitely think that was a little scary too, because he'd only been in the band for a week.
Oh wow!
Which was really quite scary. But he really came through for us. He crushed it. It was great. I remember having a conversation with him that night before we were getting dinner, before the show, and this was before we decided he was going to be a permanent member. He's like, man, I just want to be able to be here and headline at this specific, even if I don't get to be in the band. And I remember it was kind of that moment. I was like, he's just so stoked to be here that even if he's not the best choice, should be him, just because I can drive. I really believe the end of the day. That was kind of what I in my mind was I think he's gonna be the guy. But I'm convinced that he was the best choice in the end, despite not being at the time.
That's sick. So he's a good dude and he's a dope bassist.
Yeah, he's that's all you can ask for.
Absolutely.
Fits in perfectly.
So, Jon, where can people find your music? Obviously, it's on all platforms. What's your socials? Where can people find Napoleon?
Yeah, so if you search up, obviously Napoleon is not the most Google searchable band name, but if you go on Instagram or Facebook and search Napoleon Toronto, we should be the first thing that comes up. on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, YouTube, wherever. Just put our name in it, and you can find our page. So we have our new singles, Little Sisters, Jon of Napoleon, Sister. So, and of course, also we have the links on social media, so you can find it there.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, John. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up, man. But I appreciate you coming on the podcast. Thanks a ton, bud. Great talk, and it was a pleasure to meet you, man. It was really nice. I'll see you next week. All right, bud.
Absolutely, Steve.
All right, easy,
Bye.
man. Peace.
Bye.